What's up, guys? I hope everyone's well. So this is a very special video because this is about Juno. So Juno is one of the asteroids I've always used since I started astrology. I always connected it very deeply. And especially when it comes to love and what we desire in a deeper, like on like a marriage level, looking at Juno can tell you so much, right? Obviously, we have Venus, we have our moon, we have, you know, different placements in our chart that say a lot about what we need for long-term fulfillment and stability in partnerships. But Juno is actually associated with real commitment, long-term partnerships. Like it's less about dating, more about like what we would be attracted to for someone that we would stay with, right? That's how I've always looked at it. And I've seen a lot of times in synastry, people dating their Venus sign and marrying their Juno sign. Now it's never that simple. It's never that simple. Some people look at their Juno sign and they're like, this makes no sense, but let's have a video. Let's go from Aries to Pisces. Let's break down everything of what it means to have Juno in the signs. So let's roll the intro and get into it. All right, what's going on, guys? So what is Juno, first of all? So I just explained a lot about it. Commitment, long-term partnerships, what we really want in a marriage or a deep union, and kind of how, with Venus and the moon, that can shape how we experience relationships. But Juno is really, it's a deep asteroid that, like, I have a dog that I'm very good at naming pets. It's one of my random talents. I named my dog Juno before I got into astrology, and it's a Samoyed, if you guys know what Samoyed is, big white dog. And I just always pulled towards Juno, right? So when we talk about all these factors, you can't just look at your Juno. You need to look at the entire chart, right? You need to look at the moon, obviously. So look at Venus, look at Mars, look at everything, and the nodes, obviously the synastry. So it's just take this in, and obviously it's about how it connects to the whole chart. So besides that, Juno speaks to our unconscious expectations in marriage, right? And also how we approach commitment. And like I said, it's less about short-term attractions, like what we really want in a long-term partner. So it's not necessarily just the sign, like, oh, I have Juno in Scorpio, so I only want to marry a Scorpio, right? It's not like that. You'll see. It's more qualitative, archetypal. So in terms of Juno, so Juno was the Roman equivalent of Hera. So Hera was the goddess of marriage and devotion, and she embodies themes of loyalty, sacred partnerships. So basically, as I said, the sign of Juno describes, like I said, the kind of partner that we're most likely to commit to and really want to be with. So how does it work in comparison with other planets? With Venus, it's more like love versus commitment, right? As I said, Venus is really what we're attracted to, what we desire, what makes us feel valued and loved in our love language. Very romantic, but this is like long-term devotion, partnership, commitment. So, for example, you might be attracted to like a very playful, artistic type of partner, but then, with Venus and Gemini, but if your Juno's in Capricorn, you might want a structured, more serious, more responsible, maybe even older, lasting commitment. So then with the moon, that's emotional security versus, marriage dynamics, right? So the moon is our emotional needs. It's super important in relationship astrology, but, like Juno is, so it's like what we need to feel safe, and it's the most important thing in relationship astrology. Without the moon being reinforced in a good way, there's no chance for success, or it'd be very, very hard. But like I said, Juno is about the type of long-term commitment that will endure the ups and downs of life, right? So you can have a Cancer moon, for example, which means you need to have that emotional closeness and deep care. But if your Juno's in Aquarius, you might still need a partner who gives you independence and who is their own individual person, intellectual freedom, all that. And also, I guess I could say with Mars and Juno, I mean, that's like sexual passion versus like, the Juno. So, you could have like Mars and Leo, for example, and be very sexually attracted to confident, fiery, showy partners. But if Juno's in Virgo, you'll feel mostly fulfilled in long-term relationships with someone that's more reliable, humble, all that. And I guess with the descendant, which is another big one in astrology, you know, this is like basically our one-on-one relationships, right? And the qualities that we seek in a partner, but it doesn't always indicate marriage. It's more about our style and relationships in general. So, for example, like you could have a Libra descendant, and you might attract these more kind of charming, diplomatic Libra type partners. But if the Juno's in Scorpio, you might require that deep loyalty, right? That intensity, that ability to go deep and get into different emotions. So, besides that, Juno in synastry and composite is very important. I don't want to go all the way in there, but you know, like for example, like I've seen people with Juno conjunct Saturn. A lot of married people, couples with that. So it really speaks in synastry, like how that theme of commitment plays out in a relationship between two people. Like if one person's Juno is conjunct the other person's sun or moon, they're likely to see that other person as marriage material. I just had a client, or yeah, a couple, but yeah, I guess there's one client who had that exact thing. Their Juno was conjunct their their sun was conjunct their Juno's husband, or their husband's Juno. Yeah. And yeah, let's get into Juno in Aries. Okay, so Juno and Aries. So let's get into this. So Juno and Aries is someone who looks for a very exciting partner, someone who is full of passion, full of life. There needs to be a strong sense of independence. So Juno, like I've always looked at it as it represents, it can represent the partner you look for, but also it does play a role in what you look for as well, right? It kind of goes both ways because the partner would have those qualities. So yeah, they're kind of someone, a relationship where both people can pursue their own goals whilst also being deeply connected, right? So more like very confident, bold, very, very, on top of it, assertive partners, right? And sometimes these people can get a little bit bored in relationships, and they need a lot of passion to keep things going, right? So yeah, that's what I would say about Aries. With Taurus, so Taurus Juno is an interesting one also. Taurus Juno, what they seek in marriage is they want someone who's loyal. They want someone who's more dependable, who can offer security, whether it's on a financial level, but also an emotional level. So yeah, they want something that's built for the long term on consistency. Like I said, they value that solid material foundation, but also emotional foundation. So yeah, they will be attracted to partners who are more patient, who show up the same day after day, or in a similar way day after day. So it's really about that reliability. Some people just are like this one day and then like this the other day, right? And yeah, it can sometimes prefer a more traditional or steady relationship. And there's also the element of physical touch, being connected in that way, shared values. So then there's Gemini. So yeah, Juno and Gemini people, they are attracted to partners who have where they feel this kind of playful intellectual bond, where there's like a lot of mental stimulation, where they're able to communicate different ideas with their partners and build off of concepts, have like very, very interesting conversations, right? Like there's this where there's this shared love for learning, almost like they want to be like best friends with their partners. And they appreciate a good conversation, like I said. So they like someone who's funny, who's witty, who's curious, who can adapt to different situations, and yeah, who's adventurous, like who shares that desire to kind of go on adventures and go through life like a Gemini butterfly. But that obviously you have to look at the whole chart. But yeah, there can be like kind of a lightheartedness to this rather than like an overly serious, overly dramatic, overly up and down. But yeah, this is another one that can struggle with boredom, that fear of being trapped in a relationship. So um, yeah, like that, with any Gemini placements, it's just like learning that relationships don't have to mean a loss of your own freedom or your own individuality per se. So Cancer is an interesting one. Basically, you know, Juno and Cancer people, they look for emotional security, but also security in general, right? They want strong foundations to a relationship. So they want something, even the idea of having a home, having a family is very common with that. Um, they really want a partner though, like on a more like taking away the family part. They want a partner who feels like home for them metaphorically, right? So commitment and love and consistent love have to be just and just like that home life, right? Like that shared love for like maybe like they want someone who, yeah, who they can express their emotions to and feel very very at peace with. Everyone does, but like they want someone who, yeah, who they can be warm and cozy next to a fireplace, that kind of energy. I don't know. And it's not like they have to always be expressing all their deep emotions and crying all the time. That's a stupid stereotype. It's like they just want someone who gets them on an emotional level. They want that, who they can talk to, this person about their deepest emotions, maybe things that they might not share with other people. Um, so it's like really that loyalty, that emotional loyalty, which everyone wants, right? But yeah. So also very protective. They're attracted to very protective and emotionally supportive would be a word I forgot, right? People who will support them, like regardless of their whole chart, to either like come out of their shell or where they'll just feel very um, able to kind of like a Moon Jupiter synastry conjunction, like able to express themselves well emotionally and feel good talking to that person. And also it could be someone like I said who's family oriented. That one I'm kind of up in the air with. Um, so they have to watch out for taking on the caretaker role in relationships, and like learning to like kind of set boundaries is important with that. Leo, Juno in Leo is very much someone who's who's looking for a very passionate, deeply romantic, off the walls, but just like Leo is very loyal too, so it's very devoted. It's about both partners uplifting, admiring each other, right? So they'll be drawn to like more charismatic, um, expressive, creative, even partners, not afraid to be themselves, right? People who have fun, who have that inner child in them. And they need a marriage where love is like a big theme, where love is celebrated, right? With, sometimes like Leo energy can be, seen in this way as like grand gestures, like proposing at like a concert, a huge concert, or a sporting event, like that's like the stereotype. But yeah, also have to watch out for ego clashes, or like needing too much validation from the partner. Um, but yeah, like there needs to be this feeling of excitement, inspiration, um, and mutual admiration, right? Like really, like you guys are each other's biggest fans. So yeah, but sometimes they need to learn that love isn't just about this passion and this performing and this kind of perfectionism energy. Sometimes everyone has ups and downs in life. So Virgo Juno, as I said earlier, is yeah, it's very much about a relationship built on consistency. They tend to like partners who they know will be a similar version of themselves day after day, who have a detail orientation, who reliability, but because it's mutable Earth, there's also like it's not like there's still like this intellectual connection too, right? It might even be two people who do things like in a similar way on a day-to-day level. Like think about like two people who are in a relationship, but one person wakes up at 2, the other person wakes up at 9. Like so like or maybe one person like loves to go on walks, the other person like never does that, or they eat different foods, different diets. Like Juno and Virgo might really like that. But I think also the idea of service, and kind of shared responsibility is another part too. maybe they work in some way together. I'm not really sure. It can manifest all kinds of ways, but yeah, like they will be turned off by people who are not practical. They want someone who is like I said, like detail oriented, who understands cleanliness, huge one, who's supportive, and like a lot of times Virgo energy and love, like they show their love through acts of services. Um, Rather than like grand romantic gestures, like or big words. It's more like, and that's how I am, honestly. Like I think actions speak louder than words, especially when it comes to love. And but like to each their own, right? Like it's like I understand people like who are very expressive emotionally. It's just like that's just for me. That's just like not how I am. It's but like if I do something, I'll give you an example like a Virgo energy. Even though I don't have it, I feel like I get it really well. It'd be like like this is just an example that's not really relationship oriented, but it'd be like someone who like, and it's not that all Virgos are like, I'm not saying Virgos are closed off about expressing their emotions. They're not. But like, let's say like the partner leaves the house for like a few hours. It'd be like someone who like sets up a surprise birthday party where like they had no idea and they just put so much thought into it, so much time, so much organization. Or the person leaves the house for a few hours and the house is kind of a mess and the person just goes crazy cleaning everything, orders like, remembers small details, orders her favorite like chocolates to the house or something, and flowers, like that kind of thing is just like that element of surprise, right? You have to watch out for any Virgo placements in love to being overly critical of the partner and expecting perfectionism or like the perfect, and like any small red flag, oh, they're done, they're completely turned off. So, but yeah, it's also like this element of a shared purpose, right, and kind of teamwork. Juno and Libra, yeah, they are looking for a very balanced, kind of very romantic, kind, peaceful, flowy. They don't want fights. They don't want drama. They want like that perfect romance, right? Not perfect in that way. They want that beautiful romance, and they want equal contribution from both parties, and they're attracted to very charming, refined, graceful, people who have like who dress well and who care about their appearance, but it's not like necessarily in a very materialistic, vain way. It's just the value, right? It's like they want someone who's going to continue to try and keep this romantic movie, not even necessarily in the Neptunian way. Like they just want they want someone who, is going to respect them, and where they're going to talk through their problems in that very Libra diplomatic way. So obviously, like Libra and Juno, you can imagine that they can sometimes struggle with indecision. Do I choose this person? Do I choose that person? Like, should I really commit to them? And just like that whole like avoiding of conflict. So yeah, so with that said, they need someone who like really hears them well, and understand that conflict is a natural part of any type of growth, right? So Juno and Scorpio is basically someone who, regardless of their chart, they want a relationship that is very deep, very passionate, very emotionally transformative, right? Like it might, like who they are before and after the relationship will be completely different. So on a low level, it can be someone who's attracted to like kind of like Plutonian, like dark partners, who are like very sexy, very mysterious, but on a high level, they just want someone that can be that where there's this ultimate trust, like where they can tell this person anything, maybe things they've never told anyone, and they know that they can rely on that person, right? That's the best thing with Juno and Scorpio, I would say. So it's very interesting. And my chart's a good example of my whole concept of what I was saying at the start, the difference between like Juno and the moon and Venus. I'm a Sag moon, Venus and Aquarius, right? And Mars in Aquarius. So that's all about freedom, right? That's all. So what I'm attracted to, Aquarius, right? And then Juno and Scorpio, you see the difference? Like, this is what I'm saying. So it's like, and I've always dated, not like for the most part, the two loves of my life have been Scorpio and Aquarius so far. So they're both very different experiences. Both have, so it's kind of interesting. That's just an example from my chart. I'm not going to go into my stories, but like the point is that if I had, like, let's say my Venus was in Cancer or Pisces or even Scorpio, and my moon was in even like even Capricorn, like it would be a lot easier, or it would be there like I would have like a lot more specific of a type, let's just say. So besides that, so they prefer partners, people with Juno and Scorpio who are private. So true. And like I'm just gonna say, like, from my experience too, like I'm definitely attracted to, I mean, I don't know, every girl I've ever, I think, I don't know, maybe not, it's probably the Aquarius influence. But yeah, the idea of like a woman who is private, who keeps a low profile on social media, doesn't show herself to everyone, but then I'm also not opposed to the opposite. So I don't know, well, not the opposite, but the thing is, like, it can be whatever. It could be with someone who has like 100,000 followers, but like it's just all comes down to trust. If there's that real trust, which it's super rare, that like 1,000% trust. That's what Juno Scorpio is about, right? But yeah, so loyalty, like I said, emotional intensity, and a strong spiritual, and let's not lie, sexual connection. It's in Juno and Scorpio. So I should have said that for Juno and Aries too, but yeah, Juno and Scorpio, obviously sex, like, let's be real, right? There's a need for sex, and also a very specific type of sex, right? Because it's the 8th house. So I've found that a lot of people who have a lot of these elements, this kind of Plutonian element in love, they tend to have karmic relationships that are very tied to sex and physicality, and sometimes God can use sexuality and physicality and that element as a way to bring people together, and then the attraction can just simmer at some point, which then they break up, or they're not just together for that, but it's almost like they were brought together just so they could, like, they were always meant to be together to fulfill some karma, to learn some lesson, and it's that sexual attraction that initially brought them together. Now, this is not just Juno and Scorpio, this is in general. But yeah, the whole thing is like learning to trust, right? And like not having to like control relationships, right? Not feeling like you have to like always be controlled, and having abandonment issues that manifest as like you trying to control. So yeah, okay. Sagittarius Juno. So Sagittarius Juno would be someone who wants they might want someone from a different culture. They want someone who might be able to teach them something, who's very open-minded, philosophically, right? Very adventurous, obviously, who has that Jupiterian, that open energy, right? So they want a free-spirited person who's willing to expand their worldview, who's able to expand their worldview, which a lot of times people with Sagittarius Venus, Sagittarius Moon, Sagittarius Juno, they marry people from other cultures. Like every girlfriend I've had besides one has been, I guess, where am I from? Really, I'm French and I grew up in America, but I've only been with like one American my whole life. That was my first girlfriend, and she was really Italian. Well, Italian American, but whatever. The whole point is, you get the point. She's definitely super American, but regardless, yeah. So Juno in Sagittarius. Nothing against American girls, by the way. Any American women watching this, you guys are beautiful and amazing. Anyways, so yeah, Juno in Sagittarius, I've seen that a lot, but doesn't mean, I always say Sagittarius, it's like you just want someone who you can grow with on a truth level, right? So you want someone who's independent. You will be that way in love too. And very open-minded, so you guys can have discussions, even if you guys have differing views. You guys can come together and learn from each other, right? And then there's that need for that spontaneous, hey, let's go travel. So freedom is so important in life, right? let's go travel to this country, or let's go to Thailand, let's go here. Okay, let's do it. So then, yeah, it's just like traveling, learning, and just shared experiences, right? So shared passions, doing things, enjoying doing similar things. Oh, let's go learn, Italian together, so we can go live there for a year. Okay, let's do it. But also, yeah, with Juno and Sagittarius can be that grass is greener struggle with commitment, right? Because like anything Sagittarius can feel restrictive over, if it's the same thing over and over. So yeah, I'd say with this one, marriages really thrive when both partners allow space for growth. Okay, so then there's Juno and Capricorn. So Juno and Capricorn is very much about wanting someone who is willing to have a very, very strong, a lot of times they go for older, more wise partners, people who are not messing around. Like, they want someone who's trying to build an empire, dynasty, right? They want someone who's gonna who might even have like a serious, not necessarily boring, but a serious approach to relationships, in the sense of like, I'm not starting a relationship just to have it fail after a year, right? So they want someone who's goal driven, who has something they're really working for in life, right? And who's reliable, who's responsible. They know they can count on this person to be, somewhat of a similar level day by day, not just have like massive shift out of nowhere. They want someone who's working for something in their life, right? Who has like a big goal. So yeah, someone who's very ambitious, hardworking, and a level of maturity, So sometimes people with Juno and Capricorn won't experience, it might take them, maybe not it really depends on the whole chart, but like if there's other Saturnian, Capricornian elements in the chart, maybe it won't be till like after 30 that they have their best relationship stuff. But I don't think Juno on its own would be strong enough to do that. But yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like the idea of what they're looking for in a partner matures with age, gets better. Marriage, the idea of it would get better with age. So even if they did marry earlier, their marriage would probably get better as they matured. And yeah, there needs to be like that stability and not being too Capricorn where they're seeing things too much through the lens of practicality and functionality, and there's no emotional expression. It's like that's like one of like the ways it could be bad. But yeah, the best part of it is this Saturn. It's the highest commitment and loyalty. That like zero questions asked. Like there's nothing, like we have a goal that's too high. There's no way we're gonna break this for some bullshit, cheating or something, right? It's like about legacy, and also shared long-term goals comes with that, right? So yeah, but still making sure that you're not treating the relationship like a love contract, and still, yeah. But it is kind of, I think it's pretty cool. So Aquarius, so Juno Aquarius, so two more. So this is it's similar to the Sagittarian one in a way where they want, or similar to, I guess, Gemini also, they want someone who gives them, who allows them to be themselves, right? So that a lot of people enter relationships and it's like that's two souls becoming one energy and they lose who they are. They want to still keep that individuation and still be able to grow on their, and still have their own individual life, and their partner to have their own individual life within the relationship. Now also, because it's an air sign, they want someone where there's a high level of intellectual stimulation and conversation, and also just friendship, right? Aquarius rules friends. So they need to be best friends or really, really good friends. Maybe they might even be friends first with who they marry, right? Potentially. And freedom, obviously, goes without saying with Juno Aquarius, that if they have someone who's trying to tie them down or not give them freedom in any kind of way, whether it's psychologically or physically, telling them what they can and can't do. I mean, there's limits to everything, but that is not good. So they will be attracted to more unconventional, eccentric, very intellectual, like even like genius type people who see the world differently, who can really like get their heads going, right? Like it's almost like sapiosexual vibes. And yeah, they just need all that space, personal space, And I think like one of the things here is like, you know, especially if there's other signatures around this, there could be that issue with being too emotionally detached. And if there's too much independence, you kind of have to balance it out with that opposite sign Leo with that warmth. And yeah, just like learning kind of like that commitment doesn't have to mean that you're sacrificing your individuality, right? That's very, very important for that. Okay, so last one here is Juno in Pisces. So this is one of the most spiritual, if not the most spiritual and soulful ones. And basically, it's someone who wants a very, very deep, romantic, fairy tale love story. They want a marriage where there's unconditional love, where there's a spiritual link. It almost feels like you guys met in a past life, which isn't just Pisces, right? But whatever. So they'll be interested in, you know, really, really drawn to artistic, dreamy, out of this realm, nice eyes, right? Partners who are very compassionate, partners who might be willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater good, or have that humility, or have that ability to kind of just be a very great person in that way, right? Who are, you know, very spiritual. So, but also like in a shadow could be, you know, partnerships where there's shared escapism, you know, where but yeah, that's not really what Juno's talking about. But like it could be positive escapism. It's like people who want to dream together, who want to enjoy music together, who want to feel these transcendental experiences together, which could be sexual, which could be enjoying the arts, similar music tastes, doing artistic stuff together. There's tons of potentials, right? So yeah, it's almost like a marriage and love that like transcends the material realm, right? But there can be that struggle with over-idealizing a partner, ignoring the red flags, the whole Neptune Pisces issue in love. So I think like they need someone who's able to go, you know, able to talk, you know, to go to these deeply emotional places, and when the time is there, but also someone who's solid in a way, right? Like they can't have someone who's like an energy, because they can be prone to energy vampires depending on their whole chart, or people who just tell them what they want to hear. So boundaries is always important with any Pisces placements. But yeah, they want to have like a very intuitive connection where they just kind of know each other. They know what each other need. They can kind of look at that person, they just know who that person is. But yeah, the biggest challenge I would say is, yeah, setting boundaries, as I said. And kind of like distinguishing between what's unconditional love and what's sacrificing yourself too much without boundaries, right? That's the big thing. That is it. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What is your Juno placement? How do you relate to this? And further, how do you add your moon sign, your Venus sign, your entire chart? I'll give you a little example of mine. I already kind of did. My Juno's, yeah, so like I said, my Juno's in Scorpio, but I have a Pisces sun, Mercury, a Sag moon, Venus square Pluto, but Venus is in Aquarius, and Mars is in Aquarius, and you know, I have more stuff, but like the whole point is that my descendant 7th house is Aquarius. So obviously there's a big split between Aquarius and Scorpio for me. So for me, I need a lot of freedom as a Venus in Aquarius and a Sag moon. I'm attracted to partners from different cultures. You know, I don't think I could ever see myself marrying someone from where I grew up in the U.S., even though I'm half French, half American. But I don't think I wouldn't limit it, but I probably would only get married to someone. I don't know. It's just that being with someone from a different culture is so interesting. But then at the same time, I don't like to limit anything. Anything can happen. I'm not God. But then, so that's how like the moon and Sag needs freedom. The Aquarius and the Pisces needs a ton of space, my own area, even my own bedroom, my own bathroom. Like I don't want to share stuff like that, right? With that said, the Juno and Scorpio, I need that close depth. I need that person that I can tell everything to. I need that person that I can trust them, even if the most attractive guy, even if they were out with their friends and the best looking, most attractive guy in the world walked into the room, that I knew without a shadow of a doubt she would never even like look at him. Or she can look at him and she can find him attractive, I don't care, and she can tell me that, but that she would never even entertain, like, it's not even like it's not even an idea, you know? And even if it's an idea, like, because people have intrusive thoughts, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, we can admit that there's, you know, people who are, and that kind of comes with the balance of Scorpio, because sometimes Scorpio gets very jealous, and Sagittarius and Aquarius, like, we can admit that someone is attractive, right? Like, I can see a beautiful woman and be like, wow, she's fucking gorgeous, but like, it's about not ever following through on that. So that's my example. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments your Juno sign and how it relates to your chart, like I just did in this example. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.